Well, CJ, thank you for coming today. We wanted to ask you a few questions coming up to this weekend.
Yep.
Are you guys excited? Are you guys ready for this cup final?
Yeah, I think we are. It's something to look forward to. Always a cup final, everyone wants to be involved. So I think, well, we're training tonight, so hopefully everyone's raring to go, and I think everyone should be excited, yeah.
Great. Now, if you look online, there aren't many places where you see this, of course, but betting markets say Cardiff Key are pretty heavy favorites compared to you guys. Is that how you guys see it? How do you guys favor your chances this weekend?
Well, I think if you look at how we've been doing recently, I think we've been doing very well. We played Cardiff Key just before the break. And that was a draw at their place, and going to their place, it is a tough place, very tough place to go. And now we'll be back at 3G in the final, so we are confident, and hopefully we do win the trophy in the end.
Right.
Yeah, so just to try and get a broad aspect of what the teams are thinking, and more or less the halfway point of the season, how do you specifically and the boys feel like the season's gone so far? Are you happy with where you're at?
Yeah, so I think at the start it was everyone, obviously new boys coming together as always, so it's bringing them in, and obviously they need to learn what we did last year, being first years as well, how the team plays, obviously the environment as well. But I think as a season as a whole, so far I think if you look at how we were doing this time last year, I think we're ahead at this point, so I think if we look back we are in a good stead. Yeah,
so you mentioned obviously COVID, there's a massive break and there's a big switch up in the team. Do you think now going into the second half of the season then you've got sort of like an identity now, the boys a bit better and your targets for the rest of the season?
Yeah, definitely, and we've got 2 new boys coming in just in January. Sam got his goal on the weekend, his debut goal, so that'll help him fit in straight away. So the vibe in the camp at the moment is very good, and there's no reason why we can't keep pushing, and get to where we want to be at the end of the season.
Yeah, so good vibes at the moment, and then obviously a cup final this weekend. Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling good? Is the atmosphere in the changing room good going in?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Well, since I've been here, it's probably the best it's been. So hopefully that says it all. Really, it's good. It's good, and obviously with the final coming up on Sunday, it makes it even better. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Cool. I think these boys are going to go in a bit more in depth.
Yeah. So looking specifically towards the match this weekend. This season, much of your chances have been created via set pieces and corners and stuff like that. How important do you think that's going to be going into the game, or what have you kind of been focusing on in training leading up to this game?
Yeah, well, if I'm honest, we haven't done much so far leading up to the final. We take each game as it comes. So obviously we've got training tonight, which I'm sure we'll go through the plans for the weekend as such. In terms of set pieces, you may say we scored from, or that's our point of attack. It is, but Cardiff Key on Sunday, they're a physical team. They've got a lot of height, so maybe there may be a different avenue for us to go down. But set pieces, we do look at that, and hopefully they can come off on the weekend.
Yeah, and then defensively, since November, obviously there was a break, but you guys are unbeaten in your last 6 in all comps since the semi-final victory. What's kind of changed, I guess, from the start of the season? Because 10 goals scored in your last 6, but 5 goals conceded only. What's been the mentality shift since November, and do you think you've still got that drive and momentum going into the weekend?
Yeah, I think so, of course. Obviously from the start of the season, as I said earlier, the team was adapting, getting to know each other, the style of play. So I think that's maybe where the goals may have come from at the start. And as you said, the record we got now, we kept keeping quite a lot of clean sheets, minimising the defence, and I think that's just with time. The people are used to the systems we're playing. We'll look at the defence side as well as the attacking side, so all them avenues are pretty much shut off.
So you think it's more of a kind of team meshing kind of thing, not as much of a tactics thing, just more people kind of playing more together and getting to know each other more?
Yeah, I think the understanding, of just everyone where we need to be, our defensive positions and our defensive line and stuff, and I think it is tactically as well. We're set up in certain ways to minimise the opposition. So yeah, you could look at it both ways.
Very good.
Now, you mentioned earlier Sam and Ryan have just come in. Another player who's really turned things on lately too, Adam Roscoe. Obviously, you guys have won in past 6 games undefeated. Roscoe's been a big part of that with the goals he's scored. Do you guys feel like you have enough offensive firepower to win these games coming up? it's not much of an issue anymore. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, definitely. Well, as you said, you just mentioned Roscoe as well. He's been flying at the moment, and he wants to do well for the team, which is always a massive bonus. And as I said, mentioned Sam and Ryan just come in as well. And they're two attackers, so obviously if Adam's not firing on all cylinders, we've got other boys to come in, and it's good competition as well for the team, and that's what you need, I think, to win competitions and do well.
Yeah. Now, this Sunday, this could be Christian Edwards' last chance at a trophy here with Cardiff Met. Does that play into your thinking or the team's thinking at all? Is everyone excited to try to get a final trophy for him?
Well, yeah, you could look at it that way. I think, obviously, for everything that Swanee's put into Cardiff Met football, I think the best way we can repay that is winning on Sunday and bringing a final trophy for him.
Now, Christian Edwards, you mentioned earlier, a bit of a quieter guy. You have to prove it in order for him to put you in the team. Is he a little intimidating to the new guys, do you think, or not so much?
No, well, as I said, me and you had a conversation prior to this. I had to wait however long it was for a chance, and that's my advice to anyone. You've got to stick at it. If things don't go your way, you've got to keep going and pushing on, and hopefully, well, looking at now, I'm in a position where I played and I come off the bench or whatever, and I'm happy with that. So yeah, I think you've got to work hard for your position in the team.
Yeah. Now, another thing you mentioned to me before, Penabon, the stadium where this will be, Connah's Quay has been pretty vocal. They don't really want the game to be there. They'd rather it be in a different place. Does that really matter to you guys? You guys have played there before. Is this a good place for you guys to play this final?
Yeah,
Does it matter?
I think, well, the benefit for us, it's only 45 minutes away from here, and Connah's Quay are travelling from up north, from where I'm from. So yeah, the travelling may play a part. I'm not sure how they're preparing for the game, but you may say it suits us, but it's whoever turns up on the day in the end.
Now, you mentioned they're coming from where you're from. You don't have any family members or friends who are Connah's Quay fans, do you?
No, touch wood anyway. No.
Might find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
That'd be intimidating.
True loyalty.
Yeah, no.
So just the last thing you mentioned, you were saying a bit of advice, stick at it if you're not in the team and stuff like that. Do you set yourself personal goals to try and achieve? Have you got any sort of benchmarks you want to try and hit for the rest of the season?
Well, firstly, I'll start off by saying, for me, last year I didn't have a single appearance in the Welsh Prem or even for the first team, I don't think. And for me, coming into this season, that was my goal, to cement a sort of place in the squad. And I feel like I've sort of done that. Not saying that I take that for granted, because that's not how it is. But I think, as I said, we do have to work hard for our position in the team. We are all young lads, and some of the lads have been there however long, so it's hard to budge them. But as I said, you just got to stick at it and prolong it, and you just got to keep going.
Yeah, good stuff. Like you say, cemented you start placing the team. I like it.
Yeah. Now, one more question too, if that's all right. We'll go back to the young guys you mentioned, and Bucks specifically. So the Bucks season, this first phase is now over. Cardiff Met finished 6th out of 6th. Not the most ideal place to be in. What comes next for the Bucks team? Upcoming fixtures? What do you guys have up next?
Yeah, so firstly, I think it's just regrouping. For us, it's been a tough season in regards to Bucks. Obviously, speaking to you previously, we didn't have Bucks last year, so it sort of went into this season not blind, but there may be other boys out there who may be very good at football, and we haven't seen that. But apart from that, I think the goal is now, I think we're going into a playoff with the two other districts. I'm not too 100% sure, but I think that's what happens, and we've got a playoff to stay in the league. And then I think we've got, if I remember correctly, we've got playoffs as well in terms of playing whoever was top in the other district as well. So there are still some games to play, and whatever, we've had a poor start or poor 6 games, as you said, or finishing 6th at the bottom, but I think we can make up for that with the games coming up.
Great. CJ, thank you for your time. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you very much.